Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. Today's video is going to be another purchase or pass video. I feel like I just filmed one of these videos, but there have been so many new makeup releases and specifically eyeshadow palettes. So in today's video, we are only talking about eyeshadow palettes. And then I think I have like one eyeshadow single collection that I want to talk about as well. Make sure you let us know in the comments below which products you'll be purchasing and which ones you will be passing on, because I think it's really interesting. All of our opinions are different. Obviously, like we like some of the same products, but I think it's interesting to hear different perspectives on different releases. So I do love hearing from you guys in the comments below. I think it's so much fun to just start a conversation about new makeup releases. Okay, so let me start with the products that I am going to buy. The first one is from Milani, and it is their Gilded Desires palette. It's going to retail for $20, and it's not available yet, but it's coming soon to Milani's website, and it's also going to be an Ulta exclusive, which I thought was kind of interesting because a lot of new Milani products don't hit Ulta until a little bit later. So I love that they're doing an Ulta exclusive palette. But at the same time, I could see why people would not prefer that because you won't be able to find it at your local drugstore, but it will be available at Ulta. So it's a limited edition eye and face palette. So it comes with a bunch of eyeshadows and then two larger highlighters, which are the products on the bottom of the palette. It kind of reminded me of the Tarte's Pro palette, like just the layout and the packaging, but it's a Milani palette and it retails for $20. So for Milani, I feel like $20 is kind of getting up there in price, but at the same time, you do get, 16 different shadows, two highlighters, and they look really gorgeous. I don't think I necessarily need this palette for the color selection because I do have other palettes in my collection that are kind of similar, but I'm genuinely curious to try out this formula. I definitely want to review it on my channel for you guys. It looks really, really gorgeous. Like, I know sometimes swatches can either be misleading or they look better than the palette actually is, but when it comes to metallic swatches, I feel like in general, they're pretty telling of the formula, and this one looks gorgeous. So I'm definitely going to pick this one up, try it out, and review it on my channel. So the other palette that I'm going to buy is from Juvia's Place, and I am so excited about this palette because I've been meaning to place a Juvia's Place order just because I really enjoy the two palettes that I do have, and I just want to try out more from the brand. This palette looks absolutely gorgeous, and a lot of the palettes that I'm talking about today are neutral eyeshadow palettes because that's what a lot of the companies are releasing. This one looks insanely pigmented. So it comes with 9 different shadows, and it is available on Juvia's Place website, but it is currently sold out. So I just read today that the restock is going to be in June. So I'm planning on picking this one up as well as maybe 1 or 2 other palettes. So if you guys have a good recommendation, please let me know in the comments below. I think I'll grab this one and then maybe like a really bright, colorful palette because I do love color as well. I'm wearing some Juvia's Place shadows on my eyes today, and the shadow formula is so good. It's so different than a lot of the other palettes that I've tried. I just enjoy them so much. Like, they're quickly climbing to the top of my eyeshadow list. So this palette looks gorgeous, and again, it is a neutral eyeshadow palette, and I just want this one. I want to have it in my collection. I think it will be so much fun for summer, so I personally cannot wait to try this out. So I'm definitely curious to hear your thoughts on this next product. It is from ColourPop, and they released a new eyeshadow palette. It is their Fame palette, and it retails for $22. It's available now on their website, so I'll link it in the description box below. Honestly, when I first saw this palette, I did not think that I was going to buy it just because I wasn't super inspired by it, but I think, part of the territory, or what am I trying to say? When you have a YouTube channel, sometimes you buy products that you might not necessarily be super interested in yourself, but you want to review them on your channel. So if I didn't have a YouTube channel, if I was just, thinking about this for a purchase for myself, I probably would not have spent my money on it just because I wasn't super drawn to the palette. That being said, I did want to buy it and review it for you guys on my channel and just kind of compare it to other palettes in my collection. I know a lot of people wanted a palette like this. Like, everybody is saying they're sick of warm tone palettes, so they wanted to see something cool toned. But the funny part is when, a brand releases something cool toned, a lot of the comments are like, this is boring, this is ugly. So, sometimes I feel like as a brand, you can't really win. They could have switched it up and done something a little bit more interesting because there are 16 shadows in here. If it was one of their 12 pan palettes and they went with like this color scheme, I would have understood, but I feel like because they had that extra room, they could have threw in some more like fun, cooler tone pops of color. So I don't know. What do you guys think of this palette? I think in general, a lot of people aren't super interested in it, but I mean, there is a market for people who want cool toned neutrals. So let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Okay, so there is one palette that I'm kind of on the fence about. I'm thinking about buying it, but I don't know if I will. So it's from BH Cosmetics. It is their Nouveau Neutrals palette, and it retails for $16. First of all, a ton of you guys have been telling me to try out BH Cosmetics, and it's so weird because I always think of BH Cosmetics as that brand that created like those huge palettes that came in like the black packaging with like a bunch of bright shades, and they were a little bit powdery, and I don't know if they even do that anymore. That's just like how I know the brand. So it has been a long time since I've tried out any of their products, but I get so many comments telling me every single time I upload a video to try out their products, to review them on my channel. So I do need to go on the website and pick up some of their products and try them out because you guys rave about them. I don't know what it is, but every single time I buy one of those large palettes, whether it's from Morphe or I don't know, like back in the day I had larger palettes like that, I never reach for them. I just feel like they're so overwhelming. I have a hard time kind of storing them in my everyday makeup drawer, so I don't get a lot of use out of them, so I've kind of stopped buying those larger palettes. That's just like a personal preference thing. It doesn't have to do with like a certain brand or quality. I just feel like I don't necessarily reach for them. And this is one of those larger palettes. It comes with 21 shadows and 5 blushes. And the reason why this kind of caught my eye is because the swatches look gorgeous. Now this is a very warm toned palette, and I do feel like I have quite a few warm palettes in my collection. If you do want a warm toned palette, but you don't want to spend the money on like Urban Decay's Naked Heat, this one might be a great option for you. If you guys have tried this, let us know what you think in the comments below. Or if you have a BH Cosmetics like favorite palette of all time, please let me know because I do want to try out some of their products. Okay, let me finish up with 3 different products that I'm not going to buy. The first one is from e.l.f. and it is their new Rose Gold Sunset Eyeshadow Palette. It retails for $10 and it is available on their website right now. This is obviously a warm toned neutral palette. So again, I feel like a lot of us do have palettes very similar to this in our collections. I do think that these palettes, like in that layout, that 10 pan palette is pretty good. I don't think it's the best e.l.f. eyeshadow formula that they have, but I actually just decluttered all of mine because they all expired, which is so weird because I have had some of them longer than other ones, but I feel like I've had some of them for less than a year, and the fact that they changed like scent and texture and the formula just was not the same surprised me because again, I didn't have them for that long in my collection. I don't know what the actual expiration date says on the palette because some palettes do have like a 12-month expiration date. I get rid of my palettes if they change scent, if they change texture, if they change formula or color, because that's when you know they went bad. And mine all expired. It was so weird. And some of you guys left comments on my declutter video saying that yours expired really quickly as well. So for that reason, I won't be buying these palettes anymore just because if they do expire that quickly, I don't think I need them in my collection. I have other palettes that will last longer, and it doesn't make sense to buy a palette that will expire so quickly for me personally. The next palette that I'm not going to buy is from Kylie Cosmetics, and I have not tried anything from the brand. It's just one of those brands that I'm not super interested in trying. I think a lot of the products are really gorgeous, and maybe one day I'll try something from the brand, but I just feel like, you know, I've mentioned it before, there's a lot of drama surrounding the brand. I feel like the products are overpriced because you have the Kylie name attached to it, and in general, I just don't really consider the purchases as something that I would buy. But I did want to touch on the palette because it is a cool toned palette, and I feel like this cool toned palette is so much more interesting than the ColourPop cool toned palette. Obviously, it's more expensive and, you know, you don't get as many shades in it, but I kind of feel like this is what I wish ColourPop would release because you do get some of those darker, deeper, cooler tone shades like berries and purples and silvers, and it looks really gorgeous. Like the swatches that I've seen of this palette look absolutely amazing. I feel like I have enough in my collection in singles and other palettes that it's really going to have to catch my eye and be something that I feel like I really need or I could get a ton of use out of. And I think for me, it's going to be like a super smoky, cool toned palette or more of like a jewel toned palette with greens and blues and purples. So I don't think that this one is the one for me, and I feel like $42 is kind of expensive for, you know, a Kylie Cosmetics palette. So I'm personally not interested in buying it, but I think it might appeal to a lot of people out there. The last new release that I want to mention is not a palette, but it's actually an eyeshadow collection from Dose of Colors. So this is their Block Party collection. They are releasing 20 different single shadows, and they're going to retail for $20 each. That is definitely where they lost me. I just tried my first Dose of Colors palette fairly recently. I will link my review review in the description box below. I was kind of on the fence about it. I enjoy the palette, but I don't know that I would buy another one for $32. So I, in my mind, was thinking that $32 for 5 shadows was kind of expensive. And then I saw they were releasing $20 single shadows, and I was honestly just so disinterested. Like, I kind of lost interest in the brand because the fact that they're charging $20 for single shadows is so crazy to me. And I'm willing to spend money on expensive products when I think that they are worth the money, but I just cannot justify $20 for one shadow when brands like ColourPop have like Super Shock shadows that are $5 that are so richly pigmented. Okay guys, that is the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments below if there are products you're interested in buying or things that you will be skipping over, because I would truly love to hear your thoughts on these products or maybe any other new releases that I might have missed in this video. But I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.